What's up, guys? Welcome to NMDTV Canes all day. If you're rocking with the U, then you know what to do. Hit that like and subscribe button so you never miss out on the video. We got a lot of news to talk about. Let's get right into it. Mark Richt, Bryant McKinnie, welcome to the College Football Hall of Fame. Congratulations to those two. Mount McKinney, one of the best tackles to ever do it at the college football level. Mark Richt, one of the best coaches, one of the most respected people. Gave us our last good season, really. Shout out to those guys. Welcome to the College Football Hall of Fame. Next up, let's talk about Miami's transfer that they just got, Branson Deen. Welcome to the U. I did put his film cut up / highlights on the channel, so if you want to check him out, make sure you go check out that video. But the 6'2", 280-pound senior Purdue transfer has committed to Miami. He plays the defensive tackle position. Last year, Deen had 28 tackles, 2.5 sacks, 4 tackles for 34 quarterback pressures. And when I look at his highlights, when I look at his film cut-ups, I see a player that is high motor. I see a player that has good technique and uses his hands well. He will fit well next to a Leonard Taylor, working with Thomas Gore. I like those three, and I like the pickup because you're getting a player that has proven production. He's played against Power 5 teams. He's played for a Power 5 team, started the last 2 years, and it was a position of need. So, hey, making things happen. Some of the stuff isn't happening as fast as you or I want it, but things are happening. Speaking of that, and speaking of getting a position of need, everybody knows that wide receiver is a position of need, right? Everybody knows it. I've talked about it. You've talked about it. I've looked at my comments. I've looked at people tweet me, and everybody wants to talk about the wide receiver position. And I think a little bit of that because it's another way of saying Josh Gattis isn't doing his job. Listen, guys, and I'm talking to myself too, because this is the conversation that I'm having with you, and it's a conversation for me, because even I tweeted out, I need Josh Gattis to bring in a big-time wide receiver. Now, that was when I knew we weren't going to get Dante Thornton. I knew we missed out on a couple other transfer wide receivers. Mario is going to handle this. Mario knows what this team needs. Mario knows that we need to add another wide receiver to this room, and I think he will get that done. It's just not when we want it. This time last week, people were saying we need a defensive tackle. We need a defensive tackle. Well, this week we get an experienced defensive tackle with good production, and all is well. Let's slow the roll and give it time, because the transfer portal is it's open, baby, and players are still coming through. Just recently, Gary Bryant Jr. from USC, the California wide receiver. I know a lot of people don't like Gattis, but we don't gotta keep bringing up wide receivers just to talk bad about Gattis. And I think that's what's happening, because deep down, you and I know that Mario's going to go get us a wide receiver out of the transfer portal. We know it's coming. But I think some people think if they keep bringing it up, it's like showing that it's an indictment on Gattis. Then they say, well, nobody. Listen, if you want to talk about Josh Gattis, just talk about the points that we put up this year. Just talk about the rhythm on offense. Just talk about how the offense was terrible. But when it comes to bringing in talent, Mario knows what he's doing. Whether Josh Gattis is here or not, Mario knows how he wants to build this team. If I had to guess, Mario wants to make sure that the front seven is the offensive line and defensive line is set up for success before he worries about the skill position. That's how I think Mario thinks, because that's how he built Oregon. Look at Oregon's offensive line. He wants to get Miami to that point. He wants to get Miami to a point where if our center gets hurt, our whole offensive line doesn't fall apart. He wants to get it to where it's too deep talent. He wants to get it to what we watched last night. We saw a 3-star wide receiver I'm not going to say dominating, but we saw a former walk-on quarterback throwing to a 3-star wide receiver. Why? Because their offensive line is amazing. Because their defensive line was in Max Duggan's face all night. So I know that we want to wide receiver. And I'm bringing this up because my comment sections are filled with it. But Mario wants to build the big guys up front first, and then he's going to worry about the skill position, because no matter how good a running back is, no matter how good a quarterback is, no matter how good a wide receiver is, it's not going to flow if you don't have a good offensive line to get your quarterback time to throw the ball, to give the wide receiver time to run a double move, a good talented route, to give a running back holes to run through. So, everybody together, put your hands in the air. Take a deep breath. I said, put your hands in the air and take a deep breath. Mario is building this team for longevity. And it starts with the front offensive line, with the front 7, front 4 of the defensive line. We will get a wide receiver, I guarantee it. And for those who are complaining about Gaddis, may not even be here much longer. I'm out. Peace.